Kia ora everyone, how's everyone doing? Today I left a lot on the table. I felt a bit of FOMO trading today. I locked up my profit pretty early on, basically in the first 30 minutes of the trading session, and I sat on the sidelines the rest of the time. I didn't want to lose the profit I'd already made. I'd hit nearly 3 times my daily goal already, and yeah, so I didn't want to risk that. But there were quite a few stocks moving this morning in the market. So overall, the market did pretty well today. S&P 500, Dow Jones, and the Nasdaq were all up, holding and held up well. So it seems to have had some confidence in the small cap market as well, or given some confidence in the small cap market. So yeah, it was great to have a green day, but also it was pretty difficult watching these stocks put in some pretty good moves. So I managed to lock up $144.10 today in profit, which was great. And I traded one stock. Let's have a look at that one. It was LSE is the stock I traded today. So I only put in 2 trades. And managed to lock up $144.10 on those 2 trades. I'll bring up the video feed of my first trade. So when I sat down this morning and took my first trade, well actually I sat down, opened up my laptop, started up my platform, and I wasn't quite ready. I went and grabbed a glass of water, and while I was doing that, because I'd seen the level that LSE was at, and I thought if it breaks over 1340, 1350 and over that pivot point, I'd take that trade for a break back to, well, push back to the VWAP. So I thought, no, I've got time, I'll go get a glass of water and then I'll come back, and this is what happened. So I'll just speed that up a bit. So this is while I'm still away, and then it starts to break here. Pulls back a little bit, pushes, and then here comes the volume. Breaks up through that pivot point at 1360, and away it goes. And I'm still away from my computer while this is going on. So I missed that first break, and then when I finally get back, which is not yet, so it's pulling back here. Here's a good micro pullback entry. So, that's a good entry there. I'm actually just getting back to my computer here, and I'm thinking, oh, I should be in this. And I'm hovering over the buy button thinking, oh, pull back again. I put in an order for the pullback, but it's already broken and gone up through the VWAP. I thought it might pull back again below the VWAP, so I'm thinking of putting an order in below, but then realized that it's not. It did pull back there and I missed it. But here I jump in on this micro pullback on the VWAP, and it's pulling back. And this is where I think, oh no, it's all right, it's going to come back. But it's not really, there's no more volume coming in. The volume's sort of stalled out. And really, here is where I should be thinking, actually, the trade's not going to go, I should exit. So if I'd exited there, yeah, I would have been down, $20 or something like that. But then it starts pulling back, and now I'm down, $60, $70 at the most. So not ideal. Yeah, so here I'm looking back. So in pre-market, it made a high of about 1657, and that's where I was kind of hoping it would push back to. Not necessarily in this first push, but yeah, here I'm down like $90 on this trade, and it's very Oh, I was seeing if I could buy in at the low actually, but my account wouldn't let me. Rejected my order. But here I'm down 117, 109. I'm pretty confident that it'll come back up and break through the VWAP. So I was confident in my trade, but a better entry would have been here at, you know, down here around $14 at the whole dollar mark. So that would have been a good entry for the pushback, break back through VWAP. And here it's breaking back again. It's coming up. I'm still not taking my profit. It's only $14, so not a big profit margin. It's pulling back again, and this is where I'm thinking, maybe it's not going to go, and I might have to take a loss on my first trade. But as this red volume candle here is quite big, there's a bit of volume in there. But I keep holding, and eventually some green volume comes back in. It's just sitting on that 9 moving average there. Breaks down through there, and this is a bit of a worry as it's broken through that support level there. But then it pops. And I think this is where it pops up. Yeah, so here it's holding around that whole dollar. And I'm hovering over my hotkeys basically, looking for that push, looking for that break through VWAP and pushing up to maybe the $15, somewhere around there. So it breaks through VWAP here. This is looking better. And then see the volume starting to come back in, but it's still not pushing high enough yet. So I'm hoping this is a pullback and then it'll push. So on the 10-second chart here, you can see it's pulling back and starting to show some green on the 10-second chart. Comes up here, breaking this, hopefully breaking through this level here. No, it's still not going. Although it has been making some higher lows, higher highs through this point here, but on this pullback, just waiting for it to break up again. And there's some green on the tape at the whole dollar again. So yeah, better entry would have been definitely down here at 14. But pushing up through VWAP again, and I think this time it breaks. I might take, here it goes. Yep, and then it breaks through, breaks over this level here, and then has just broken through that level at 1475, I think it was. And then it pushed all the way up there, and I took my exit around the whole dollar at $15. And that was my first trade. Locked up 50 cents, or just over 50 cents on that trade. And I pretty much got in straight away. So I put an order in here at 14.22 because I was expecting it to pull back, and I wanted to make sure I got filled. But really, I possibly could have actually not taken. I was hoping for a dip and rip but it didn't dip and rip. It just kept dipping. So really, I probably could have put an order in or waited until it had dipped and then bought in as it came back up through the whole dollar. So it's dropped all the way to 13.70, and even taking a position down here at 13.70, 13.80 would have been a better entry. So I missed the best entry down here because I preset a order at 14.22. This trade here, I wanted to just get the break back through VWAP. So I was thinking if I can get 20 cents out of this trade, I'll be happy with that. But in hindsight, you know, possibly could have just waited to see what happened and just had a mental stop around the 20 cent mark. So, and that, you know, I could have marked out on my map with a line saying, right, if it goes above this, this is my line in the sand. If it comes back down to this line, I'm out. Otherwise, just holding it to see how far it goes. So, might do that more in the future instead of, especially on these ones that have a lot of range. These stocks that can, you know, put in big moves pretty quickly, it's probably better to have a line in the sand mental note where to sell if it comes back down, and you know, just let them run a little bit. So I'm still holding here. It's pulled back. I think it does go down a bit further. So it sort of slowly grinds up and makes higher lows and sort of has a flat top around the VWAP. Yeah, so it pulled back below $14 again, down to $13.70. And, you know, here I'm looking at a pretty big loss. I think I'm sitting at about $104 at this stage in profit. And taking a loss now, I'll pretty much wipe that out. So I held through this. It shall fast forward this. This looks like yeah. I had some issues with my screen. But it's pushing back, it's showing some strength again, coming back up. And I was like, okay, yep, this is good. It's gonna hold and come back up. I didn't take profit there, sort of rejected off that line, and I think this is when I start thinking about just putting a sell order in and taking my profit on the table, off the table. So there at the VWAP, it's only like 5 cents I'm making on that trade, and I really wanted to at least get 20 cents off the trade. So I think this is where I put in a sell order. So I was thinking about putting it a little bit higher. So if it broke over there, but then I thought, if it breaks over there, it'll probably keep going. But here it breaks. Oh no, it pulls back here, I think. I'm gonna speed this up a bit more. There it goes, breaks again. So it definitely wants to go. Yeah, so here I've put a sell order in up here at 14.56, and yeah, and then I'm just waiting for it to fill basically. I think I'd move it actually. I must move it because it's, I got filled at 14.44. So it looks like it's still pulling back. Let's speed that up a bit. Yeah, this is where I move it and replace my order. Down to 14.44 and a 14.42 around the VWAP. I'm just thinking for it to come up and break and get out of this trade. It's taking too long, so really the trade is, I'm in it too long and just I'm risking it dumping on me, and then taking, you know, if it dumps back down to the lows, that's a, you know, $250 loss. So I was pretty confident that it would still come back up. I just was in a little bit too high. Should have waited for it to come down and then buy back in as it started coming back up. No, that's why it's taking so long. I'll speed it up a wee bit. Okay. I think this is where it pops anyway. And is there green on the tape? Yep. 14 lemon, it's 14.18. Still a bit of red. It's dropping 14.10. And there it comes, 14.22. There it is. So I'm going to speed it up again. No, there it comes, and then it. I think it pulls back a bit and then goes on the 10-second chart. It's pulling back here, back down to 14.15. Yeah, popped there and I got filled. And it was good. And I switched over to another stock that I saw that was coming out, BDRX. BDRX had broken through its previous high. When I came back to LSE, it had pushed higher up to 14.70, broken through this line here. And I was thinking, this might go again. And here was an opportunity to buy back in at 14.20, 14.30, and watch this. Yep, there it goes. 14.80, 14.90, 15, 15.30, keeping it still going, 15.50. You know, and then it's pulling back here. It's a small, tiny pullback, and then rips up to 16, 16.30. You know, 16. You know, even if you're pushing your sell order here on the ask, you're getting filled over 16. You know, and then it's pulling back again. Possible another entry here for the push higher over the previous high, pre-market high. But for me, the downside risk was just too much for me. You know, if I'm buying it here, you know, I'm getting out here at 15.60. You know. So I've just watched this thing rip up and I'm feeling a lot of FOMO at this stage. I probably wouldn't have got the whole move, but I probably would have got around $16. I definitely wouldn't have got the break there at 16.80. I just wouldn't have held that long. Once I got into that consolidation area, I would have been looking to get out pretty much at the high. I'm flicking through stocks now because I'm like, that's hit the high. It's probably not going to go any further. And I'm looking at BDTX, which is sort of pushed up on the scanner. And then I'm thinking, it's a bit too low priced for me at the moment. But I come back to LSE and it's finished its move, it's pulling back, and I think it held around the VWAP. Did put in a couple more pushes, I think, sort of up through, yeah, but it sort of stair-stepped down, and I think it faded after that as well. So yeah, so that was it for LSE. That was it for my trades today. Took 2 trades, 100% and $144 in profit, which was great. BDRX was another stock that actually put in a decent move. This popped up around 7 o'clock, put in a move up from around 217 up to 270, and then sort of pulled back in this area here, but held, and then broke through on this candle here and pushed up to make a new high, breaking that pre-market high and going up to about just below $3.10. So decent move there, pulled back again below the VWAP, and another entry here, possibly at the break of VWAP, break of this first green candle, and it pushed higher again, breaking through this pivot point here, and again making a new high around 331. So decent move there. What's that first move was about 60 cents a share, and then this move here off the VWAP maybe around 40 cents a share, 30 cents a share. So decent move there. And then the other stock that put in a decent move that I watched was ADTX. This thing also put in a decent move. Where are we? Pre-market. Where are we? Yeah, here. Okay, so had this stock been up prior? Yeah, so this stock had already done a move on Tuesday, and it pushed up to a high of around 9.98 and then pulled back. So yeah, and then today in pre-market it sort of wasn't doing anything really, and then around sort of 8:30 I think some news came out, fresh news came out for it, and it popped again, pushed up to around 8.50, pulled back, pushed again to $9, and then went into consolidation, sort of pulled back in this area here, held above the VWAP, still showing, you know, some strength and conviction that it was going to hold, and then sort of curled around, pushed back up, broke through this level here, broke through the pre-market high again, and pushed all the way up to $10.19. So really good move there, over $2 a share, that move, and then pulled back at the open. So, you know, just sort of dumped at the open. So yeah, did pull back during the day, around midday, 11 o'clock to midday. It put in a really big move as well, but yeah, I don't trade during that time. And LSE, that sort of, where are we? Why is it not showing? That one. Yep. So LSE at the open, that's pre-market. Here it is. So LSE at the open, it pulled back, couldn't hold that level during pre-market, pulled back to around $11, and then at the open it broke back up. So I was thinking about taking an entry here around $12 at the whole dollar there for a push back up to VWAP, but then I didn't want to risk my profit, so I didn't do that, didn't get in there, stayed sitting on my hands and watched it push up to about 13.50, and then it was quite choppy through here as well. So and had wider spreads, so it was probably a difficult one to trade, but did hold that level, and eventually it did push back up to the VWAP, but didn't go very far after that. So yeah, but kept on the sidelines, didn't trade that at all, stayed disciplined, and just locked in my profit for the day. I'd already sort of made that decision, so glad that I didn't sort of jump in and lose my profit for the day on a bad trade. So looking at my P&L for the week, had 3 green trades this week, which has been really good, up around $400 in gross profit for the week. So my P&L curve is still, pushing up and looking pretty good at the moment. So really happy with that. So I was definitely feeling the FOMO today after watching LSE make that big move, ADTX and BDRX making good moves in the market as well today. But happy to have another green day under the belt, walking away with a profit in hand. So, it's good to have a green day and stay disciplined and didn't give in to my FOMO. So that was good. Let me know in the comments if you've had any FOMO moments in your trading, how you handled that, what you did. Did you give in? Did you stay disciplined? Remember to like and subscribe for more trading recaps. Trade smart and stay disciplined. I will be back again tomorrow trading the markets again. Hei a popo.